AVAIYA has changed my life.
AVAIYA has made me the woman I am today.
AVAIYA is my home.
AVAIYA is personal freedom.
AVAIYA is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about AVAIYA.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, AVAIYA, for appearing in my inbox.
What ALLEN and Ande Anderson have created at AVAIYA is what the world needs.
My name is Ande Anderson. My partner ALLEN and I are the founders of AVAIYA Village. AVAIYA is the online learning platform that helps people remove their psychological blocks and experience true happiness, peace, and freedom. In addition to creating our personal and spiritual curriculum, I have a deep love for yoga. Exploring practices like yoga help people break free from their perceived limitations. For years, yoga has been my time for meditation, for unwinding, and for quieting my mind. But it wasn't until I stumbled into a Yin Yoga class that I began having the most transformational experiences I had ever had. These experiences were so profound that I realized in all my years of practicing yoga, I had been missing one half of yoga. As I continued to practice Yin Yoga, I started seeing benefits in all areas of my life: my psychological and physical health, my spirituality, my relationships, and even my business. If I was receiving such amazing benefits from Yin Yoga, I could only imagine the transformation that others could discover for themselves if I created a short film about Yin Yoga for our AVAIYA Village community. Fortunately, Ike and I were leaving soon to lead a seminar series in the Southwest on overcoming anxiety and depression. I decided I would find Yin Yoga instructors in the cities we were already leading workshops in to explore the mystery behind this beautiful practice, and then share my discoveries with our AVAIYA Village community. Before we left, I made a quick visit to my friends at Mika Yoga Wear to get comfy new yoga clothes for the journey. We all know how comfortable yoga pants are, and like many of us, I wear them everywhere. With my new yoga wear keeping me warm and comfy, it was now time to head to Santa Fe for our first seminar, and while there, find teachers that could help us share their love of Yin Yoga. After Ike and I taught our first seminar in Santa Fe, I found 3 amazing yoga teachers in this magical town, and they were all excited to share their wisdom and love for Yin. So, what is Yin Yoga?
So I feel that Yin Yoga can be described in different ways, but most basically, I draw from Paul Grilly's way of defining Yin Yoga, of working specifically with the connective tissue, working with the joints of the body. Using stable, slow, long-held poses, relaxing the muscles so that you can bypass the muscles and access the joints and access the connective tissue. So that in itself is on a physical level through a basis of poses that primarily address the body from the navel to the knees, below that. But then energetically, you're drawing upon both from Ayurveda and the energetics arising out of India in terms of their philosophy and the nadis and the marma points, and then in Oriental medicine, the meridians and the acupressure points. And so you're also attempting to move chi or move prana through these long-held poses as you address the connective tissue, and it stretches and opens and the breath deepens and expands. And with good intention, the prana will create shifts in the body.
I've seen more remarkable transformations and deeper presence of mind through the practice of Yin Yoga than many other systems that I've taught or explored, just because of the simplicity and because of the intention and the space that's held to go inside and to really listen to who you are.
Yin Yoga is basically the other half of yoga in which one targets the connective tissues, rather than the muscles. And it's
part of yoga that we don't touch on very much in our yoga classes. So the three principles of Yin Yoga, the three tattvas, are to first find your edge, and then to be still, and then to hold it for time.
So Yin Yoga, if you think of the word Yin, you always think of Yang. Also, that comes from the Taoist concept of Yin Yang. So it has to do with, I guess, prioritizing all the Yin aspects of yoga. So if you think of Yang as being active and maybe even aggressive, masculine, sunny, Yin is really taking a look at the sides that are associated with the moon, receptivity, maybe even passivity that people say, and surrender and caring, givingness. All these great Yin female qualities that are often underappreciated.
When I took my first Yin Yoga class, I was surprised by how challenging it was for me. I was more challenged being in pigeon pose for 5 minutes, or swan pose as it's called in Yin Yoga, than I was in a power yoga class where I'd be sweating and my heart would be pumping. I wasn't used to sitting still and feeling the discomfort of a pose without moving to a new pose within a couple of seconds. I quickly realized that sitting inside that discomfort was where the transformation started to happen. Sitting inside that discomfort was where I began to heighten my awareness of myself, of my thoughts, of my own blocks to happiness. And by consciously sitting inside that discomfort, I was finally able to let those blocks go.
Another thing that to me is really striking about Yin Yoga and the amount of time you spend in a pose is how detailed you have to be in observing yourself. So when you do a pose in non-Yin Yoga, you may be there just long enough to get your arms in the right place and to observe maybe your jaw or your shoulders. But in Yin, it doesn't stop there. It just keeps going for an amount of time. And so the more you practice Yin, the more you kind of unravel layers of tension, layers of pretension about yourself, and you just get to a deeper sense of your body, which just helps you in grounding and being yourself in the rest of your life.
As you can see, Yin Yoga is an incredible, supportive practice that can help us become and stay aware of our thoughts on and off the mat amidst our busy lives. Our core teaching at AVAIYA University is to remind everyone that the most important practice is awareness. If we're not aware, we are blind to the disempowering stories that are controlling our lives. And these stories are limiting our happiness and fulfillment. And like AVAIYA, the support that Yin Yoga gives creates an opening for each of us to be aware, if we're willing.
So there was a student in class, this elder man who was, really super stiff in the hips, which is common. And so he's always using, in Yin we use tons of props and we really let everything support us. And so when someone's in a pose doing a forward bend, I always ask people, can I get you a prop? Just signal to me. And he said, yeah, can you bring me that bolster and then another bolster and maybe some blankets, maybe some blocks. And he said, I can do anything if I have enough support. And he was just joking. But I kept thinking about it over and over and over. And it's really true. It's like, well, you really can do anything if you have enough support. So I don't mean just about doing yoga and stretching. That's a really great thing to help isolate different muscles that you want to stretch, but also as a metaphor in life. And I think especially as women, well, I think as anybody, we're not really taught that it's a good thing to take support. We always have this dream, it's better to be independent. That's kind of this American way, like I can do it by myself. That's glorified, whereas Yin, being this kind of more receptive female thing, is really about taking support, using the support, and helping each other, helping So I think when we're doing yin yoga, what I've really learned that's translated into my other yoga, types of yoga practice, is just how supportive the floor is, how supportive the wall is, and how supportive the blocks are, and just taking as much support as I want and need.
One of the aha moments that has occurred for me as a result of practicing yin yoga is that yin itself is a support system. It helps people remove their blocks to love and happiness in their lives. It can generate a constant reminder of how we can all practice receiving support from the people and experiences in our lives off the mat. Allowing support requires us to practice being vulnerable. One of the many things yin yoga can help us with is being more vulnerable and open to our wide array of emotions.
You know, essentially, all our life, all our emotions, anything and everything we've experienced is stored in the body. The body is essentially a blueprint for everything that's happened to us. And yin, it's literally unraveling everything that has been stored, everything that's happened to us. And at the same time, because we have to still be in the pose and not go into something else in another 2 breaths, we have the time to allow that unraveling to take its course. Of course, intelligently, you know, mindfully, with guidance to how to be aware of it, and then just let that happen out of the body, so that we no longer have to keep holding on to all of this stuff. We're growing, we're evolving, and we might not need a whole bunch of coping mechanisms that we gathered when we were children or teenagers, but they're probably still active in the sympathetic nervous system. And sometimes we are amazed and we question, well, hey, what I really wanted to say was this, or what I really wanted to do was that, but then there was this habitual response that just happened. So how am I going to change my habitual response? Only if I look into what is the habitual response, and then allow it to unravel and make an intention that, well, from now on, I'd like to create this way. So yin offers that opportunity.
Yin allows us to bring our emotions to the surface by forcing us to sit and contemplate for long periods of time, sitting in less than comfortable, sometimes even challenging positions. And the rules are you can't fidget, you can't talk. It's like taking a sea storm and blowing it over a dirty lake. It just, everything kind of kicks up. You store negativity and stress in your hips, in your connective tissue in your body. And when this practice opens it up, I've just broken down crying in classes before. And not just because it's an uncomfortable position for 5 minutes. You are opening your body and allowing gravity to do all the work. And it kind of integrates into feelings from life that maybe you didn't want to face, just kind of come up, and you have to sit there and you have to think about them and you have to accept them and you have to release them. And yin, the practice, forces you to take time to actually have these experiences. And you should be really careful because it can be very life-changing and very transformative in ways that you'd never expect.
As you can see, yin yoga allows us to become aware of the things we tell ourselves, aware of the emotions we've bottled up inside. The practice is a vehicle for us to let those thoughts, stories, and emotions go. As our AVAIYA Village community knows, much of our curriculum helps people overcome trauma from their past. Like Aparna said, most of us developed coping mechanisms as children that were needed for our survival at the time, but that no longer serve us. Yin yoga is a great way to become aware of these outdated coping tools and let them go. I loved my time in Albuquerque with Aparna and Mike. We explored the emotional release that's available when practicing Yin Yoga and all the benefits that come with that release. Our next AVAIYA Village seminar was taking us to Phoenix. Afterwards, I found several yoga teachers in the Valley of the Sun to dive into the topic of balance.
Balance to me is finding your center. It's finding that center. My new favorite word these days, my students will tell you, is polarity. We're reaching up, we're grounding down, we're reaching forward and back, and that's where we find our center, our balance. And it's from there that we can live, and then everything seems to fall more into place, or at least you're living from the place that you best can. So to me, balance it's imperative. It's what I strive for every day, every moment. It doesn't mean, as Buddha said, right, that you're going to be in a place without noise or craziness, I like to say, because my life is crazy. I have 4 kids, I'm a grandchild, and I'm a single mom, and run 2 businesses. But balance is imperative.
Balance is recognizing that there's all types of aspects of our being. We have masculine, even though I'm a guy, but I also have a feminine side. Now, most guys don't want to admit that, but we do. And balance is necessary. If you get out of balance, things don't work well anymore. For example, if your body is out of balance by being stressed or being, overworked, it's going to hand you a bill one day, and that bill is going to be your health. You're going to get sick. Your immune system is going to be compromised. So balance is just what we should be. It's our natural state of being, and we're probably born very balanced and then spend a lifetime getting imbalanced. So the balancing act, in yoga is getting to a point of, well, where is the middle? Where can I have both be active and where can I also have the calming aspects?
And for 25 years, I was an ultra-distance triathlete. I couldn't touch the ground when I first started yoga, which was very aggravating because I was in my early 40s and I thought that I was so hot. And thank God I had started yoga by the following year when I had a major knee surgery that failed and completely cut off my ability to do long-distance running or definitely long-distance bicycling. I started feeling that the balance between yin and yang has a purr. It wakes up your inner groove better than anything that I'd experienced before. With all those miles, all those years, that's what I had been looking for. Lightness, grounding, centering, and the ability for the mind to turn and look at itself. Because if you slow down enough, you will capture the present moment. It might not last for very long, but those dots will connect. And my personal experience of Yin is what has driven me to teach it as often and as regularly as I can.
I suggest Yin to people, period, because they do too much. Everybody mostly does too much. And the times we take out to be still, to be quiet, to go within, are mostly rare for people. The place, sequences, and they need to accommodate each other. I always try to explain to students that you have to look at the scale. Where are you in life? Are you already up here with your yang, which most people these days are? And what is with a bowl for your yin? When have you filled it up last? And you have to kind of bring the 2 scales into balance. Otherwise, your duality system will at some point challenge you with physical or mentally or other projects you will run into because if we're not balanced.
Yoga, of course, in our country mimics our society. And so we have people who are very work-oriented. They work hard during the day, and then they come after work, they park their cars, and they work hard during the yoga class, and that's what they want. I mean, it's sort of this idea that like attracts like. If you are that way, if you are not even a type A personality, but anybody who's into kind of an active kind of lifestyle, you want something active. The problem is then you're missing out on the thing that would balance you out, the calming, the relaxing. And that's sort of where yin comes in. But I think the popularity of yang yoga, which we don't ever call it yang yoga, but call it like power yoga or flow yoga, these are all yang practices. They're just mimicking what people already are. It's just like, here you are, you like that, and come get some more of it, you know? And it's sort of the market. It's delivering what people think they want, but it's not what they need, you know, 90% of the time. They need the opposite. If people that practice yoga, let's say they practice flow yoga or power yoga, and they do that 6 days a week, if they just add one yin class per week, the world is going to be a better place. Because they're not going to stop there. You know, it's just sort of like the gateway to figuring out that, oh, there is this other side of me, and they will want to then start exploring that side. And I think people will eventually gravitate towards a very balanced kind of practice where it's on and it's off. It's more honoring where your body is, honoring what you need versus what you think you need. You know, people think they need active a lot of times, but that's just the sort of momentum of their life taking them there. And when they feel that, it's like, yeah, I really want that. I really want to like burn off, you know, stress or burn off this. What they will eventually realize by practicing maybe just one yin class is that, wow, I tapped into that side of myself without burning it off, just opening up instead. And I think that you know, for most people, if they added yin, they're going to have an awakening of some sort.
As you can see, Yin Yoga offers an incredible opportunity to each of us, and that is to live a life of balance. As the teachers at Urban Yoga talked about the importance of balance, it reminded me of my very first experience with Yin Yoga. I remember feeling very challenged during the class, and I walked out afterwards feeling surprised at just how transformative it had been for me. A big part of that transformation for me was that I was beginning to feel balanced. I didn't even know I had been out of balance until I started holding those Yin Yoga poses. As Hamid said, balance is our natural state of being, and coming into that balance again is available to each of us. My next stop on the Yin Yoga journey was taking me to Harumi Yoga in Scottsdale. Harumi was preparing to help us dive into the importance of knowing your true self.
Yin Yoga to me is it's a tool for knowing myself. And also bring me the point of awareness of what's happening in me. Not only physical sensation or pain or feeling freedom or anything like that, but to me is more to my mental state. I think it's awareness, a tool to know myself. And in the processing of getting to know yourself it's hard. Very hard work. It's not a really easy journey. I think it's a really hard journey. I mean, I'm already 55, and then I feel like I'm going to be 56. I feel like I still don't know myself, and I'm still going through this dark side of it, and I'm still moving somewhat little by little to light side of it, but still, yeah. I don't know how long it's going to take actually. When that would be, but it's practicing, so yeah. But I just love it. Yeah.
Learning to know yourself is interwoven into each and every Yin Yoga pose. Just like the great philosopher Socrates said, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. For me, I knew it was time for bed. Tomorrow, I had an early morning stop on the Yin Yoga journey in Tempe, where I met with yoga instructor Earl Dusky.
It's awe, but Yin clarifies. It brings things down to where you have the time to really be in a pose and really see So you can be in pigeon or swan and you can feel the effects of the movement. You can be in Baddha Konasana and you can feel the long-term change and you can feel the things that happen. It works ligaments, tendons, and joints. And it's a beautiful balance, because if you're all yang, you're all muscular, but the joints start to wear away. That's what tennis elbow is, isn't it? You know, it's from that constant movement. So it brings balance. It gives you time to see yourself. It gives you time to be with yourself, that in this society people don't do. People don't take, as a massage therapist, one of the things I ask people, I said, do you just sit and be with yourself for 5 minutes? And often they'll go, no. And it's like, so it gives them time to really take a look, be, and yet it makes sense. You know, so it's that slow being allows. I think the thing I love about it is, as I teach the classes every week, I teach several here in another studio, I love going to the Tao. I love to go into different scriptures, and it's always perfect. So in one class I read out of Lynn Derrick's Yin books, and right now I'm reading out of his book called The Tao of Success, which most people don't put success and Taoism together. But you know, reading that book, it was like there was several stories in there that just made so much sense to me. Like, you know, you're successful because it's learning how to get all the little stuff out of the way, that you have room to do what you really want to do. And it was like, that makes sense. It's not about always trying to achieve and get more and more and more and more. It's about clear this out, and then you have a clear path to what you want. And he says that's how the Taoists do it.
One of my favorite parts of Yin Yoga is that it creates the clear path Earl described. You can pursue and create success in any area of your life that you want. Yin has helped me create the hugely successful online learning platform AVAIYA University. It has helped me to stay fit and flexible into my 40s, and it's helped me stay incredibly happy and peaceful. Success in relationships, your career, your health and well-being, your happiness, it's all available to you when you embrace the darkness inside of you and clear whatever blocks that are in your way as you settle into a Yin pose. It was time for Ike and me to lead our last AVAIYA Village seminar on this trip. Fortunately, it was in beautiful and majestic Sedona. Before we taught the seminar, I was able to capture the wisdom of one more instructor on this journey.
It's one of the best practices to practice to break free from past trauma. And I've just seen this over and over again. People come into a Yin class, they go into the postures, and it's much deeper than the postures. They go deep into the pratyahara, into the practice of withdrawing from everything around them, and then suddenly all of this comes up for them, you know, and they don't need to analyze it, they don't need to know where it comes from. But what I found is that through those breakthroughs, the trauma breaks free. The trauma, whatever it was, it could be childhood, it could be something that happened last month, it could be anything, it just breaks through. And there's grace, there's grace there. So it's such a wonderful thing to guide and to witness. So that's why, as a yoga instructor or someone facilitating this process of releasing the trauma through the Yin practice, you've had to really be grounded and be very spiritual to know when to, how to facilitate that, when to help in an emotional you know, when someone is emotional. So really have done a lot of advanced work yogically to be able to guide this practice. I think it's really, really significant. It's really important. For me, I think whenever I have some sort of breakthrough, and I don't ever know what it's about really, you know, when I get into a pose and when something floods out of me, and first of all, I think, oh, thank God this is coming out, because if it's coming out here in this way, then it's not going to come out in a stressful way, like in an angry way towards maybe my family or towards in another situation, you know. It's going to come out this is the healthiest and most graceful way that it could come out, through being silent in a pose and through sitting there in stillness and having something bubble up underneath you, underneath the skin, coming up and coming up, just observing it. A lot of people have this place of resistance, and it's okay, it's natural, you know. So as it comes up, and I'm speaking from my own experience, as it comes up, just watching it, and maybe doing a little prayer, maybe bringing God in, you know, to exercise your faith, you know, and to be present to whatever is coming up for you, whatever emotion's coming up to you. And in my case, with this, I just feel like I can observe it and keep observing it and keep observing it and keep observing it until it just dissolves. That's what I found. That it just, whatever trauma came up or whatever was locked inside of our tissue, into our cells, it will just dissolve out. And then the earth takes it. And then I say again, oh, thank God, yes. I'm so grateful for that experience, having released it in a healthy way and in a harmonious way, without causing any disharmony for anyone close to me or anyone that I may not know, you know.
As you can see, one of the common themes in this exploration of Yin Yoga is its amazing ability to allow you to release trauma, emotions, thoughts, and beliefs that no longer serve you in your journey. You free yourself to do amazing things, to create in the ways that you want to create, to serve in the ways that you want to serve, to take the journeys you're inspired to take. And as we came to the end of this journey, I asked Anna to leave us with any last insights about the power of Yin Yoga. And she said,
well, this practice is so important that we really get to release the emotions and the trauma from the tissues of the body, because we're clearer that way. We're able to do the work that we need to do without being bogged down by that, you know. So that's really tamasic. So the more that we hold on to these emotions, consciously or, you know, maybe we're not conscious of it, we become more tamasic in nature. So tamasic is in the gunas, you know, the rajas, the tamas, and the sattvas. And tamasic is this like almost lethargic energy. So we become heavy. And then we may not be able to do our work, the work that we have here on earth, or our dharma. My teacher, Ramajyoti Vernon, calls it dharma and svadharma, you know, our individual path. So the more that we can get sattvic, so that's balance, what we're really doing with these emotions is we're releasing all of this tamasic energy of the body, you know, we're all energetic. So, and we're balancing into that sattvic energy so we can do the awesome work that we need to do here. And there's a lot of work to do here. There's great things to do here. There's great changes to make. There's environmental things to do. There's, you know, work with children, work with babies, work with mothers. There's a lot of good work to do here. And I think that we're just waiting for everyone to step into that path of dharma. So that's why releasing emotions, it just makes you more in harmony, clearer about your path, and really vibrant about that path. So.
Like Anna so beautifully said, life is simple. Enjoy it. When you take on a practice like Yin Yoga, you allow yourself to step into your most natural expression in life. Whatever that is, be brave and step into it. Thank you to everyone in the AVAIYA Village membership community for going on this exploration of Yin Yoga with me. There are so many paths to happiness, healing, and enlightenment for each of us to explore. We are honored that you join us in the village and share your true self with us.